had to get me a drink. I'll be right back. I gotta get something. I know. I'll be right back. Okay, here I am. And darn it, I've got to get me. I'm gonna unplug this mic for a minute. Um, yeah, I had to. I'll just holler, but I had to unplug the mic and let me show people what I'm talking about. So, since I'm back in the greenhouse today, and I'm really proud of how it looks because I've been paying a little bit more attention to. I am going to get the floor done hopefully by the end of the month or started, but this is my mic right here to prove it that I do try to make myself audible. If you look this up, and a disclaimer, because this now is an Apple owned product like Beats. So prior to that, this was one of the top ones on the market, but I realize my voice is, but I'm not apologizing for that. I'm just proving that I put my money where my mouth is. So before I get to this box, I am going to pan around and show what I've done with my fowls because I'm really, really happy. And I'm going to do a video that I've resisted on for a while because I didn't think I was ready for it or was capable or qualified. But I think now I can do a video on how to, might even be more specific to how to successfully conquer the Norman Phalaenopsis curse. Kind of like the Cubs curse. You know what I'm talking about. I will tell you, you see these glass jars, these are cocktail glasses, of course, and you can see that they are in, and this applies to just any I'm just going to say Phalaenopsis that you receive in these cups. What I do, you can see this is sitting in, and it's got a little bit of a reservoir in the bottom. This kind of does the same, but this is for a different purpose. This is sitting in a mug. These are well, that's a Phalaenopsis, but I have my bulbophyllums sitting in mugs as well. There's that one. Well, this is not sitting in. Anywho, seedlings are in a mug, so that there's a reservoir at the bottom, and that fell as well. Now, the downside of that, besides it being what I would say is a fail-proof method of keeping a Norman's orchid, especially ones that have spikes. Now, bear in mind, this has spent spikes on it, but this has been, I believe it says 3 of 21. Now, if you come over here, you can see this is the same deal. It has not been repotted. I don't know where the tag is, but I can show you. I know this tag right here, it has not been repotted. You can see the roots in there, which is another reason clear works well. You can see there's a spent spike, but this is a new spike. Still has not been repotted. Now, after that spike goes, I will, because you can see the roots at the top are burnt to a crisp. But down here, same thing. This is there. It had finished blooming and is continuing to put up buds. And I believe it's because it is in a reservoir of water. Same with this. That's how I'm growing all of my, and this Phalaenopsis that has a reservoir in the bottom. You can see this is my, and I know I'm off topic, but this, I think it's important because everyone fusses about Normans. And here, this is the prime example. There's a Bellina that is somewhat like a Bellina, fragrant. There's my Samurai Blue. And here's my Xing Ying Happy Queen. Now, you can see they are still, I think, yeah, I haven't repotted any of them. They're still in those plastic pots. You can see the green algae. But if you've watched my videos, you know no, I'm talking about Phalaenopsis here. Phalaenopsis, this one has been in bloom forever since I got it. Multiple flowers. And same with Xing Ling Happy Queen. And it continues to put out more. There's my Bellina back there. So they're all sitting in cups with reservoirs. Now, what I was saying about the downside is you do have to repot them more frequently, but it's worth it because either buy some of that Phalaenopsis mix that has the leca, bark, sphagnum, and that cocoa husk, or just plant it, just repot it, remove the old sphagnum, put it in new sphagnum, and you can do the same thing. Really, that's my trick. Because if you want, for number one, repot it when you get it. Most people will repot it if they look at that, they get a plant like that and the moss is on, they will immediately take it out. And you know, if you kill that plant, Normans will not, they won't even look at you. So you're gonna have to leave it in that sphagnum, and most people tell you anyway, especially when it's coming from Taiwan, which these little cups say, when you get a little cup like that, that designates Taiwan import. So the rationality is that it's been on a boat or in a box, on an airplane, overseas, in dry conditions, in that moss. So you're gonna need to give it a time frame in which it settles into your spot. And that means not disturbing it out of its current media, because that will disturb it and stress it even further. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to get to this unboxing because that's what we're here for, but I thought that was important to know because not that I want to talk about Normans, but this is another example. But I have repotted some of these and they've all kept their spikes down here. Yeah, there's my Corningana. And there is Tetraspis, the fragrant one, the brown one, coffee. And you see their spikes are still green, and in fact they are going to give me some more blooms because they just finished blooming. And before I go down, here is, yeah, I swear, Stacy, you can see this is my Yang Yang blueberry, the first one or the second one that fell out of the box, out of the pot. Same thing, I had no choice but to lift it up, and Norman said, you repotted it, bye. And it died, so I left it in and just set it in a mug, and the mug has water, but you occasionally have to dump the water out. But trust me, the roots, it's almost like semi-water, semi-culture, semi-water culture, semi-hydro, because they are just wicking from through the hole in that little cup. But if you ever get a Phalaenopsis or any plant really in those plastic, it is an import from Taiwan, and it is best to leave it. Because you notice that they've just started saying that. And Norman's, I think, was the first one, and there's a few other. Big leaf. Okay, before I go on, this is another thing, but I'm gonna show that another time. I haven't only had a swig, so don't start. But okay, we're getting on to this box because this is Andy's Orchids. And I do hope you are hearing me, because we love Andy, and that's all I'm going to say. Because that place is, I can't imagine a place that I would rather be at to purchase orchids. Just the whole experience. Because it's a beginner to, what did I say? The orchid, VIP click. Anyone, they will cut you off if you want something and they know that you won't be successful beyond the culture lesson that they give you, which is very informational there at Andy's. They sit you right in there in that little office like you're in school, and they either pull up all your past orders, as I've said before, and then they ask you which ones are alive, which ones are dead. And you have to be honest, I guess, but whether or not you're honest or not, you know the truth. And they give you how to grow it. Like, it is a candy store, and so you will see everything and anything that you want now or in the future. Even if you can't grow it. I saw citrine, well, you saw it. She didn't let me buy it, but I knew when I picked it up that I shouldn't have bought it. I already did that video. Anybody else would have said 2 for 30. No. How about I think they were 75. But they were big. So how about, 2 for 300 or 2 for 150? No, 2 for 100. That's probably what they would say, just to sucker me in, because they knew that would be probably 100 times, to get me back. Oh, you can do it. When she just said, she saw me with it and cut me right off. Katrin. Go there, go Katrin. Go see Katrin. Andy is good for getting approval on plants, but Katrin, she will not let you look at a plant that's not in your grow. If you're looking at a cold plant, she'll see it from the other side. Focus, and she can't be talking about anyone else but you. Okay, so I'm just pulling this out, but it is a great experience there. Very honest, and it is a candy store. It really is like a gumball machine that's free. Yeah, because it's like bite size, and they are all in different flavors. Okay, but it is kind of confusing because there's so much different flavors that look alike, and there's tropical mixed with. It's a lot. Okay, so this I already can see is a phylogeny. So this is one that I had a while back, and I loved it. But at the time, I had lots of issues with my growing space here and outside in the summer. But this plant was lost in the middle of all that, and it was a very nice plant that I lost. Besides the flower being unique and fragrant and Stylogeny speciosa, like, if you know what I mean, or uniflora, the foliage is what I like because it's bronze, it gets bronzy and very dark color. It might start out this color of green, but it will turn to bronze, dark, and so the leaves also get kind of shell. I would call that shell. See how that's wavy? They get very quirky, very kooky. We are all kooks. Some of us, we are all kooks. I was going to say something, but anyhow, how can you not like this? The flower, I won't even tell you that the fragrance is I already know, very musky and sweet, but musk in a good way. Like the kind of musk that you would put on to go to work. That is not really like sweat. It's that sexy musk. I can't remember. There was a musk from the 70s. There was a black. There was some kind of cologne. Anywho, the flowers again, they are crunched, but look at that salmon color. This is Stylogeny xerces, which is a species. Intermediate to warm grower. They stay small. Like I said, the older that it gets, the more mature the plant changes. It's a lot like that Oncidium cymaticillum, that it changes as it matures to a more it's like a more not muted, but it's just more bronzy. It looks like it's dying, but it's a beautiful death if it's dying because the leaves are very, very bronzy and the flowers, and I can't describe the fragrance, but I am just rattling on, and I'm excited if you can't tell. So let's get on with this. That's one. And again, you all can laugh if you want, because I was with the ultimate enabler who approved everything. And I know she popped in while I wasn't looking. And if she's not popped in, she's spying, because she's a spy. Alright, and so I know I have one of these, but I wanted one mounted. I will just set this outside in shade. This is the Yamada. Actually this is Burt. So I have two kind of similar clones but different. I have a Yamada, which is a tenifolia, of course, the yellow one. It's in a pot. Looks like it's putting up some new growths, and it's just completing its bloom. None of my other maxillarias bloom, which sucks, but they're alive. I think they all are alive, yeah, because I collect them. Sanguinea and Maui coconut. Yeah, I need Chunkiana. That's the only one. See, that's on my list. With Cindy and somebody else. Oh, two more things. Those dendrobiums. Okay, so because I got my Cimbadella in here, that's one off my list. All right, so this is done. I don't need to explain this any further. We know about Maxillaria tenifolia. But again, this is Burt, Aria Burt, not Yamada. So if you want another one, yellow tenifolia, they have Burt, and they're mounted. Okay, so I know one of these plants, and I'm seeing the pseudobulbs, is a plant that was discussed very much in the video. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, and the last time I was at ANDYS, they had these plants. Well, they have them every day, but they had a different clone, which I didn't know. Same species, different clone. And Ketron, of course, I looked at it, and they were all like just opened up that morning. This is Brimerianum, Dendrobium Brimerianum. So if you know what I'm talking about, this has no flowers to show, but if you look back at the video, the flowers, they look like they're dripping with honey, even when they're spent. But I've always wanted one of these, and the only ones that you can find, probably even still to this day, are probably about this big. And they take, they take me way too long to get to blooming size, and when you want to smell that honey fragrance. But anyway, Catherine cut me off the last time. She said, don't even look. But this time, she actually gave it a consideration, and actually this is a different clone that is more warm tolerant, and is more easier to bloom. She said the other one was temperature, it was just finicky. I think she said it was just too finicky for me. Not that I was an amateur, but it was a combination of temperature and also light. And this one I think is a little bit more forgiving on the light. So hopefully we will see some blooms. This is one of those like the my Uniflorum over here, and then the one that I'm thinking of is the thunderstorm orchid, which is Cruminatum. Yes, Cruminatum, I think. But anywho, their blooms come from the top of mature, old, previously bloomed canes in most instances that are usually sparked back into life by sudden drops in temperature or barometric pressure, just sudden rainstorms, and that's generally what initiates their blooms. And because these like a higher light than the other ones do, it's difficult to maintain that mix for the culture. But this one supposedly is easier and more heat tolerant. It does say bright light. Anyway, that says it's Cindy. There's the tag again. And I will be hanging this up outside. I think these do get a rest, but not a complete rest like a deciduous dendrobium, although they can be deciduous. So that is the dilemma and difficulty in some of these other species of orchids that are kind of not specific to what their culture requires, but they're sort of in between. Okay, so this is another Sologeny that I got because it was mounted, that caught my eye, and it is one that I think I might have had. Well, no, I never had it before, but it caught my eye just because of the number of spikes on it. And I know that it is fragrant because I can already smell it. Yeah, it kind of opened a little bit in transport, and that's why she picked this one. In fact, we picked it, I should say, but Catherine picked it because she looks at these every day. I will not say I can just glance up at 10 dendrochilums when you're in a jungle and pick the best one out. You know, that's kind of hard unless you're up on, in the tree, or unless if you walk past those every day. So she knew that this would be the one to get because it's just starting to open when it came out of the box today. And I saw this plant last Thursday. Was it? Wednesday. Thursday. Yeah, I didn't get there till Wednesday. Okay, whenever it was. It's been a while. But you can see this is the name just says Dendrochilum species, which is very generic. I have no idea, but I would just assume that, not just take Catherine's word that it would be a warm grower, because I think all of these dendrochilums like it more on the intermediate side regardless, but this one just may be more on the warm side of intermediate, if that makes any sense. So And again, it's mounted, which is a better situation for me because it takes up less space, because these plants do grow really fast when they're given the right thing, the right culture. And this will quickly become a big pot if it was in a pot. As you can see, it would quickly fill a pot. And then what are you going to do with it? All right, so I can just hang this up when it gets to that size, and I won't have to worry about repotting it. Okay, so there's not that many more in here, believe it or not. And these peanuts. Okay, so this is the plant. Another plant. See, this video should be going a lot faster because a lot of these plants you saw me look at or pick out. Not this one. This one was one that I got with Andy, who I didn't even know was there, and I wish I would have had the camera on. And now that I look at this plant, what the hell was I thinking? Because I know, and if Sam is there, she can verify this. This is the one, and I don't see a flower on here. There were flowers on here. You saw this in the video. I don't know where my flowers left, but we will see. We'll get another one. Well, maybe I'll send this to. No, I'll get it to bloom. See, I'm being comical now. I'm showing my insecurity. But I wanted to show you the flowers because this was an impulse buy that I had to really. I showed that I was impulsive, honestly, because it was one that I walked by and I couldn't move past it because it was just so unique. The flowers reminded me of Dendrobium anceps, where it looks like the stitchum, but it's longer chain link. But then on the other side is where the flowers come from. They're little bitty, but they're fragrant. But these were like bigger, they hung a little bit. They were just so showy. The way that it was hanging pendantly, and flowers were hanging from. It was just amazing. But this is a species I really can't tell you anything about it. It's Dendrobium because I don't think they even gave me a name, or Andy gave me a name. I was just looking at the flower. I think I asked if it was something I could grow, and he said yes, and I said I'll take it. So that's how I am, you know. Snooze, you lose. So, but I wish I could show you the flower. I guess that's why I was so disappointed. But I'm sure you're like, why are you disappointed at that 2 feet tall plant? I just told you why. So, Dendrobium sororium, I can't really tell you anything about it. It says Sulawesi Islands, intermediate to warm, bright light, medium water. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, and I will be taking those outside. This one is another plant. This is a falcatum that I got. You saw me get this on camera. Epi falcatum, which is actually called a stylus. So I have a number of these. As you know, I have to have extras because these are really special, and I want to at least have, when I get one that is established, and I wanted one established on a mount, because I do have a few. I had a few on the mounts, but most of them were in pots that I had to transfer. Anyway, I'm talking too long. Well, I'm not. I'm giving you the history. But this is a very large plant, and the difference between a maturely established falcata and like the one that I have, and probably the one, this is more on the scale of what Ninja would have, is the size of the pseudobulbs. And if you can sort of recall, these colostyluses similar to, like, this is a sister to Epidendrum parkinsonianum, colostylus. So you know that one, and you can see how this hangs, but you can see how these pseudobulbs are like squat, fat pseudobulbs, whereas, and these are the pseudobulbs that I'm talking about. These are the pseudobulbs. You see how they're fat. If you look at, and I'm not going outside, that's the other one, Parkinsonianum, their pseudobulbs are like pencils. These are like thumbs. This is probably due to brighter light, I would say. The fatter the pseudobulbs, fat squat pseudobulbs means brighter light, more better blooming. Larger skinny pseudobulbs that kind of seem like they're stretching out, more indicative of not enough light. And the skinniness of the pseudobulb indicates that they're not going to have as many flowers as they would if they were short squat. So short squat, and that goes for Cattleyas as well. Just because it's a club Cattleya, a Schomburgia, I've seen Schomburgias that look like bowling pins that have blooms. They don't necessarily have to be, 2 feet tall or 3 feet tall. Same with these. And this is very healthy. And another thing I like about these are the roots. You can see the root tips are like a maroon color, which is kind of a neat contrast to the shade of the plant. This is a species from Mexico. As I said, it gets a little bit on the cooler side, likes a cooler, drier rest in winter. But while they're putting up new growths, which I believe roots or growths, I say water. When all that stops, or when the new growths are mature, water none, not or no more, no fertilizer, cooler, and higher light. Okay, so this is another something. Oh, this is an Epidendrum parkinsonianum that I got, and I had to have it because it's a species that was very much in, it was the trendy, it was the yang yang, if you will, or the, what else is, all I can think of is Mini Mark. That was a very trendy kind of plant, Mini Mark. I'll just leave it at Mini Mark. This was back when I started doing orchids. This species was, for some reason, it was very much in collections. It was in nurseries. Now, really, you can only find hybrids of this. You really cannot find this species. Many hybrids, though, beautiful, but they all come from this. And I love epidendrums, and epidendrums can be tricky. They do like it cooler, more shady, but they like moisture. They can sit in moisture. They don't ever want to dry out too long. But okay, I think I'm back now, and I did finish talking about Parkinsonianum, so I'll get this out of the way and try to finish this up before I get kicked off again. Now, who knows why I get kicked off? Okay, so this is another Epidendrum or Colostylus that I got, and I'm sure you saw this on the camera, maybe not, because I got it. And this is another Colostylus that I wasn't even expecting. I was expecting. This is what I was looking for. This is Colostylus or steady. Now, wait a minute. This is not or steady. See, they have this as or steady. I was looking for or steady, but this is actually Purpureum. See, I'm not going to make that mistake because that's what it is. Purpurescens. You can see the flowers that are still on the plant, so that is not or steady. Purpurescens. But they did say that it was now classified as Colostylus instead of Epidendrum, although it may still be Epidendrum, and I know this is not focusing so well, but you can kind of see it looks like it's I guess I would call that a paniculate kind of Epidendrum where the growths, the spikes come up from the premature growths that are not developed, and then after they bloom, then they continue on and form the pseudobulbs. So that's how that does, and that's pretty much how the majority of the Colostylus do. Now, another funny thing was that when she gave me this plant, and this is another funny story, and I'm going to sound like I'm not going to sound like anything, but it's just a backstory, and it's kind of interesting. And since I'm remembering it, because when she pulled this plant down from the top of the greenhouse, first of all, let me smell it, because I know that the fragrance lady is shouting that question at me as I ignore her, and there is no fragrance. Okay, so you know this story, what I'm telling you, but anyway, no, you don't, but she does. So as she was pulling this down and handing it to me, she noticed that. Do you see what that is? I didn't really see it at first, but the Ursula did, and Katrin did, but then she pointed out to me, it's right there. And what she said, and look, there's another little, it is a plant, and you can see what that may look like, but who knows what it is. So what Katrin said, which was interesting to me, was that if Andy saw that, he would pull it off before packing it up. And I can see why, because it is a, what do you call it, a hijacker? A hijacker or a hitchhiker. Hitchhiker. I said hijacker. Boy, my mind. I think I need another sip of limoncello after that one. You know why that is so hilarious? Because that movie, The Hijacker, I watched that once and I could never watch that movie again. It was that Thomas C. Howell, and I want to say it was the dude, Anthony Hopkins, or Bruno Gans. It was some scary MF who would not die in a truck. But anyway, let's get on with that, because I'm off target with hitchhikers or hijackers. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. So this is an unknown something, and we'll see what happens. But this is a species, pubescens, and another orchid with nice long roots that's mounted. It is Andy's on a stick. So what do you want? And you can see how the roots are really, really nice, and you can see how they're used to. You can kind of look at the roots from where they came from and tell. You can see how green they are without even having been watered for 3 days. And the white, you can tell what these requirements are. This plant is going to need a rainforest on standby. So I should just put this outside right now, because we're having a rainforest right now. I know you've been hearing that thunder. So let's get on with this, because this is getting way too long. And this was why I went to ANDYS. Well, it isn't why I went to ANDYS. I was dragged, never mind. I went to ANDYS to shop. Okay, I wasn't dragged there. I went willingly. You know, I'm just kidding. That's part of my symptom of being, I am the granola, the laid back, of course, white coat area. Actually, you know, I'm on the fringe of that, because, you know, I've investigated all of the rain. Well, I didn't have rainwater before. I do now. I've investigated RO, never gloves, but that's borderline. So this is Cimbadella, this is Rhodokelea, which is a species, nice size, lots of moss, roots coming out through the moss, nice fat squat new growth that's there. It's right there, and that looks like a matured growth, but that, wait a minute. Okay, I saw this thing in here. It's sphagnum. I thought it was like a little beetle, and but anyway, yeah, this, some people might think, oh, that could be a spike. No, Cymbadellas bloom from the base, like Cymbidiums do, from the base of matured. And this is near blooming size. I would not say it is a blooming size Cimbadella, but Cymbadellas are gorgeous. They are gorgeous. Orange, green, flower with a black lip that's spotted. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Um, okay, I will hang that up. Cymbodella's like low, not low, they like shade. They like filtered sun. Okay, so that might be it. That is it, I think. You know what, it's not it, because I got one more box. And I'll just grab it, because it's sitting right behind me. That's all from ANDYS. And I hate this. Okay, but anyway. This was sitting out in the rain, so you can see it's wet. So let's see what it is. Oh, you know, it's from Tang, so I don't remember. What do you say? This looks, oh, you know, it's my favorite. And, you know, this is what happens when you put your out there. Then you start getting people targeting you because they know you want this, and this. You know, like an orchid shopper, which is okay to a point. Just don't tell me I can't touch the merchandise. Anyway, or just don't give me a, well, that's a pretty girl moment. Pretty woman, otherwise. Okay, so this, you can tell what this is. And it does have a light fragrance. But I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. Let me give you a close-up of it, of this Oncidium type. Of course, it's a mule ear Oncidium. No, it's a rat. It's a rat tail. It's a Trichocentrum, and it is Johnsonianum. And here is the flower again. Hopefully it's the right way. It's backwards, I know. Guess that's a little better. Anyway, nice. This cannot be blooms. I guess it could be bloom size, but it might just be first time bloom. Seems kind of small. These really usually need to have 3 feet long leaves and thick, almost not as thick as your finger, but you know, pretty much more thick than like spaghetti. But this is a species, you know, I collect these, so you know that if I find one of these, I'm gonna get it. These are special. That looks special. That's not any old plain dancing lady, for sure. That is not. She's got a better outfit on. She looks almost like a dancing Indian priestess with her white ruffled skirt and like the yellow boleo, and then she's got on like the sleeves that have like the same pattern as the cap around her head. I know you see that, all you artistic people that have good eyes, like spies or undercover agents, or just people that pay attention. Okay, so I'm rattling on way too long, but I think that everything I got here you would have got too, because now that I know who my subscribers are, what I get, you guys already have. I'm catching up to you guys, so, and when I show you these blooms, you know I may never bloom this again, and you might try to punk me and say, one day you're having problems with your Trichocentrum and da-da-da-da, can I show it to you? And then they'll show it to me, and it'll be like my ones outside, and that's all I gotta say. And then my mouth will be dropped, and then I'll laugh about it, because that's how you guys are. I know. I'm a comedian, and you guys are laughing. So I know. That's my self-deprecating. Is that between 3 and 4? Yes, never 5. Okay, never 6. All right, but I have a 6 in my pocket or two. All right, I am throwing out some tea for real now. So, but I can't stop looking at this because the roots, y'all hate these. I love these mounts. Just throw a little of that sphagnum moss, the live sphagnum. Andy's had the live sphagnum, sheets of it, selling it for $50, a lot of money. But they all had little blooms on them. It was just amazing, amazing, that place. And anywho, that is my haul, folks. And again, if you missed my Phalaenopsis intro, you guys missed it, because my Phalaenopsis are banging. Especially this up here, which is Yang Yang Blueberry. I wish you could smell her poon, because it is some poonane berry. And there is my Sulawesi, I think, and then here's my another Yang Yang something. No, this is Sumatrana. That's got those. You can see the pattern. What is this? What does it say? Zebrina. That's what this is. Zebrina. And something fragrant. This has never been in the competition, ever. This is Guadalupe Pineda. It's fragrant right now. Yep. And I don't even, look. Who wouldn't want that? But let me, again, because this is worth showing again, because I am so proud of these files right here. No peasants. And make sure you look back at the beginning for my tip on how to conquer Norman's files and these plastic cups. So this is Qingling Happy Queen. And the light is not, you know what? Okay, here we go. Qingling Happy Queen has been in bloom forever, all winter, in that spot. Qingling Happy Queen, never been repotted, but it will be, and it's sitting in this. I've already said the tip. Right next to it, of course, the blue samurai that also has not stopped blooming. You see it's putting up a new leaf, giving me another bud there. These are active, and they have been active. There's my other one. This one is fragrant. This is the name of that plant, Dorycnopsis Goldstaff. Very, very fragrant, yellow. I moved it over here to the fragrant corner because it deserves to be here. Here is my Bellina that I got at Norman's, and it's still in that cup, sitting in there. You can see there's moisture, and I'm making a mess, but I'm gonna have an accident. That's what I'm gonna do. But you can see there's buds coming. There's another leaf. So, and up here, you see that Samurai Blue times Qingling Happy Queen. This is Qingling Happy Queen. And this would be the cross. And I just pulled the flower off because it's going anyway. So that's the cross between this and this. Is that. Or let me put it there. How'd that, anyway, I don't care. All right, that's good for today. And I was going to show you guys these books because I had these books forever, have never even looked at them. I mean, I've looked at them, but it's time to just give them away because they're just sitting on my shelf. And The more that I looked at them, the more I didn't want to give them up. But I was going to. I think I might give this one up. This one I may not, because you can see this is a nice special book. Let me look. Oh, hey Tracy. Well, Janina. Hey, I had to. I was at ANDYS and I was at SVO. So, okay, but we'll anyway. I'm not gonna talk about it. I was on vacation, but this book is more like something different. You know, it's more like a real sort of orchid guide than just a coffee table book, because it does really go over information more than just a pretty picture, if you know what I mean. And there's Stanfordianum, which I love and I talk about so much. But I love books that have historical information that lists how it was discovered and when it first flowered and who did all the work to bring it to where it is today, to where people like me lust after the pictures and go outside and have a sad looking plant. But the picture right here just brings it all back to where I want to be out there with that plant and nurture it or throw it away and buy a big one. So anyway, that's how I do it. And that's how I know a lot of you do it. And I was going to save this, but I will save this for tomorrow. That is a surprise spike I did not know. And that's my Rodriguez that I've had a little while. But I will leave you with Yang Yang Blueberry, who is just fragrant. And you see these plants are so vigorous. The spike is continuing to give me more, and then there's another branching there, and then there's another spike coming, and roots. So you make sure you listen to that tip at the beginning of the video on Normans. So anywho, this is Terry, and I'm signing off for a minute, unless there's another box that comes. And yeah, if there's another one that comes today, I'll honor it in Janine's name. And Sam, I'm still waiting on your you know what, your project. We're all waiting. And there is a few more boxes, but not anything big. Well, no. I did say I was buying stuff on my list, but you'll see. I think everything that I got from ANDYS is totally within me, and I've had them before, or I've said that I wanted them, and so now that I have them, they're off my list. I don't need to have them anymore. I don't need to look anymore. So that's how I do it. I don't need 2 and 3 and 4. But anyway, I am rattling on, and I am going to finish my drink while you guys drool over my Phalaenopsis. I'm just kidding. I know you all have. I've already said it. You guys already have it already. You already had yin yang when I was saving up my pennies for mine. But anyway, I appreciate you all. Love you. And sorry if you can't hear me. But I showed you my mic. I just needed to plug it and give some power. So we will talk soon. Thank you all. Love you. And make sure you tell us, us, before I go. Tell me what kind of hobby you are. Be honest. Bye.